How's it going, everybody? My name is Absoulem, and welcome back to the All Collectibles walkthrough for Resident Evil Village on the Village of Shadows difficulty. This is part number 7, and if you're returning from part number 6, welcome back. And if you are new here, then everything is linked below and also timestamped for all the collectibles. But let's get started with part 7, and we are about to conquer Moreau's section of the game. We just finished beating Donna, and that is where we're at. So I'm at the merchant right now. We just turned in our flask, and now it's time to set off into the village where we came in at initially in the beginning of the game. So without further ado, let's get going. I would recommend stocking up on shotguns and sniper bullets, as well as pipe bombs and the mines. That's going to be extremely helpful for the later on boss fight, but we'll be getting to that in just a moment. Alright, so when you're ready, go ahead and go through this door, the four-winged infant door, and this is going to lead back to the original area of the game. And it's going to start with a mini boss fight, but on Village of Shadows there's 2 mini boss fights. So just go ahead and get eaten by this guy real quick. Bad dog. Like, how can I survive that and then just, like, not survive a normal hit? Okay, so right there, you want to try to hold the left joystick back, because as soon as you come out of the cutscene, that dude's going to swipe at you, and if you just hold the back button, it's going to evade that hit. But there's our next file. That's going to be file number 27, Versailles Final Testament. And once you're ready, go ahead and climb up this ladder. I'm going to show you the cheesiest way to beat this boss. So there he is, lurking down. You can just snipe him a couple times. And then basically you're just going to drop down on the roof to your left here, go back into the building, and then it resets. And then you just rinse and repeat until this dude's dead. So right there, drop down. And yeah, right here, he just doesn't follow you for whatever reason. See? So just go back in the building and, you know, restock, do whatever you got to do, and then climb the ladder of death. These guys have a bunch of health, which is going to be a pretty common denominator for the rest of this this game, I guess. But this section in particular, all the enemies have just an insane amount of health. But we'll be going over how to take care of that problem. I don't know how this guy's programmed to not follow you into this house, or like at least to the door, seeing as that the cutscene starts with him swiping at you in the door. I just don't know why it's like that. But hey, okay, we killed him right there, and now there's one more in this section. And it is possible to evade them entirely and just not fight, but it's a lot easier just to clear them out. So once that first guy's dead, you can go ahead and open up this door using your iron insignia key. And right here is where the GM79 grenade launcher weapon collectible part would be on that table if you haven't already picked it up. So here's a look at the map. Basically, we cleared out this whole area at this point, with the exception of one of the crank areas out back of the house. But we'll be getting that at the end of this section. So sometimes, like it did for me, it doesn't spawn the second guy right away. He'll actually spawn back behind you, or sometimes on the left right there, but it's really weird. He'll just kind of pop out of nowhere, and it's never predictable. So what I'm doing is just walking around the mine, hoping that, you know, if I see him, I can at least put that down in time. I don't know if this is the smartest way to do it, but it's how I did it. So I'll let you decide if that was the smartest idea or not. No, I would honestly recommend trying your best to just spawn him in and then running back and trying to do the ladder of death again. I was just kind of getting a little pissed off at this guy, and I decided to bombard him with pipe bombs. But as you can see, he just doesn't die. That sniper is very powerful. But I didn't want to cheese both of them. I wanted to show that, you know, they are in fact killable without cheesing it. But it's a lot easier to go up on that ladder. All right, once those two guys are dead, now we can move into the next like area of the map, I guess. We're gonna leave the village and go fight Moreau. This is honestly probably one of my favorite sections of the game, just simply because it's got some like obstacle courses and stuff like that. I also like the cinematic. Now there are a couple boxes out back. You can get these now, or you can wait till you get the crank later and hit them on your way back through. But I just got them now. And this is also a good time to loot any of the houses in this area if you haven't already. But as we covered earlier in the game, we've already hit those. So come over here and shoot this green slime wall, and then you can progress down the path. There's another green slime wall right here. You can clear that out. And you can shoot it with pretty much anything as long as it's like an explosive. So shotguns, I think the Magnum works too, and then the grenade launchers and rocket pistols, all that stuff. Now, if you guys haven't put it together, we kill everything that moves in this game. There's nothing left standing. All right, so I'm just going to point out there is a labyrinth over here, and I will show you how to get that in a moment. But that'll be more towards the end of the walkthrough. So right here, there's a save machine. You can go ahead and save the game if you'd like to. This is kind of like home base for this section of the game. So I would definitely recommend doing that. There's not going to be a lot of collectibles right away. They're more towards the end of this. There's a lot of collectibles and things to do at the end. But I think the reason I like this section so much is that for the bulk of this part of the game, there's not much to worry about. And I like that because I'd rather focus on the actual cinematics than having to worry about where a collectible is and stuff like that. So there's nothing to really stress over at the start of it, at least. There's a gemstone in the ceiling right there. Definitely get that. If you forget, it'll be more obvious on your way back out of this area. It'll be in the slime. So work your way back here, and then you'll trigger the cutscene with Moreau. Who is one weird dude. Kind of childish, honestly. I don't know.
Damn freak.
If you watch that cutscene, I feel like Ethan almost talked him into just giving it to him. He's like, why? So right here in that slime is where you'd see that gemstone if you hadn't killed it or shot it out. So once this is happening, come up here to this balcony, and then we're gonna go get the boat key. And this section is really tough. I'm not gonna lie. My first few playthroughs, it got the best of me a few times. So I found out that this ladder is, I mean, basically all ladders are the ladders of death. You can cheese everything by going on a ladder. So I would recommend, you know, facing your fears and then climbing up the ladder. These guys are easy. I would recommend not going around the corner just yet because you'll spawn in more than you're ready for. So kill these guys first. Coming around the back side of this boathouse is going to be a little bit easier, and I would just beeline the shelf right here and try to close it because it spawns in the heavy dude. And you want to just unload on this dude, basically. He is a bitch. Okay, so here's where we're going to run back to our ladder. Yeah, I'm not above running away from a fight. Not at all. Especially not on Village of Shadows. Plus, the upside to this is that about 2 out of 3 times, the people will just stand and stare at you and allow you to kill them just outright. I don't know what that's about, but hey, take advantage of it. These guys are crazy bullet sponges. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I missed the ladder, and this got a little bit scary. But I think we recovered well. One rule I'm going to say with Village of Shadows difficulty is never panic. Sometimes it's just not going to end poorly, I guess, and you think you're just dead. But I've noticed that a lot of times things just kind of work out if you don't panic and you just start to think critically about what ammo you do have, stuff like that. So I don't know, maybe just take a breath sometimes if you get cornered like that. All right, so there's the boat key. Definitely get that. And then now we can head back outside. So while we're running back, our 2 collectibles we have so far is file number 27, which was on the dead body on that first werewolf fight. And then we had the grenade launcher in that house with the iron key. And so far we have the boat key. And that's all that we've had so far. These guys just don't learn that you're just going to absolutely kill them. Okay, so once those 2 guys are dead, our next collectible is going to be file number 28, the reservoir and giant fish. And that's going to be in this little dock house. Also in this part of the walkthrough, we're going to complete the outhouses, which is exciting. And that treasure out there, I'm going to show you how to get that treasure at the end of this part. But we're going to have to do a few things before we can get there. There's nothing to loot on this water at the moment. Just drive straight through. Trust me, I've looked everywhere. It's really just go straight through. You don't have to waste your time going to that left area. This is really important. Do not go into the house when you get out of this boat right away. Go to the right side. But if you just go straight into that house, it's going to trigger a cutscene and you're not coming back. So you definitely want to go to this right area and go fishing. And there's a gemstone as well. And this fishing hole will most likely be where a lot of people end up getting their recipes, like the stuff they need for recipes. My fish were being difficult. These are like catfish, I guess, and they just wait till you walk over them, so you kind of have to like trigger it. Okay, and so now there's a gemstone on the wall, and you have to like knock it off the ceiling kind of thing. And it's over here to the right. Yeah, right up there. All right, now we can go into this house and trigger the cutscene. This is where my favorite part of the game happens. Just this whole sequence. So this is like an obstacle course, and I really find it fun. So you just want to run down the thing, and we're gonna go stop, do a checkpoint, and then we'll start the obstacle course. But it's just a really cool part.
What am I supposed to do? He said the exit's underwater.
All right, so this is a look at what we're gonna be doing. We're gonna be draining the reservoir. And we need to restore power first.
Shit, there's no power.
And also, before we go out that door, we're going to go stop at the merchant and save the game. Don't ask me how he got behind the table or even through the doorway. I don't pretend to understand the merchant. I don't know what his deal is. I just know that he shows up in places that are way too tight.
Dissatisfied? I believe this is a fair price.
So go ahead and see if you can craft any recipes
Now to cook.
and get as many of them as possible. If you aren't able to get them, it's no big deal, but it definitely helps out a lot. You can run faster. The one I think is the best for Village of Shadows is if you block, you don't take any damage. And that is amazing on the final boss fight. So I definitely recommend getting these complete if possible.
Thank you. Now to cook.
Now to cook. Oh, he likes cooking. Am I right?
Finished. I'd love for you to enjoy as well. I wouldn't mind having that again.
All right, so I'll be coming back for that last recipe later on. It should only take you 2 playthroughs to get all the recipes.
Securing goods is more important than
So just do any inventory management, and then when you're ready, we can get going with the walkthrough. Also, be sure to save the game, and now we can head out. So our next collectible is actually pretty exciting. It's Outhouse number 10, which is our last outhouse. So you should get the trophy pop and the challenge completed when you open up that one, if you've been following along. And yeah, make sure you teabag it. It's the last one. And our next collectible is just up here in this the truck driver's seat. It's going to be file number 29, changing the cranks. There's also a chicken hunting ground in case you didn't complete one of your recipes. Here's another hunting ground. From what I've realized after your first playthrough, the fish is going to be the thing you need the most. But you can always sell off the meat if you don't need any more. Like, you can always sell it. It's not worth too much, but it's always worth collecting it. Now, I don't know why. This is probably the dumbest thing. They make you touch the windmill first. And if you don't do that, you're not going to be able to, like, climb the ladder later. I don't understand it. It's really weird. That was just me venting. I don't know. Okay, so our next collectible is goat number 12. And I apologize. I actually filmed this earlier, lost my footage, and then now that I've already collected it, it won't show up again. So it is on the ground right there between those 2 logs. I promise that is where goat number 12 is. I wish that Resident Evil would change that, but if you pick up a collectible in Resident Evil, it's gone forever. I would have to, like, clear my account out or something. But even if you're on a new game, it doesn't matter. So that is that one, and then goat number 13, I'm going to have the same issues. So after that, my footage didn't mess up, but that was rather unfortunate. Actually, I think I got to the boss fight of this level, and then it just screwed me over. My file got corrupted. Okay, so now make your way out here, and this is where the obstacle course starts. I really like it. Try not to get eaten by the fish. It is pretty fun, though. I do recommend getting eaten maybe once. It's a pretty cool cinematic. But you're going to come over here, and you can shoot this little pillar right here. And you can actually save some time and not go all the way out on the pier, and you can just shoot the other one from the edge of this roof right here. a little bit of a time save. Okay, so here's where Goat 13 is. It's on top of that pillar out in the middle of the water, right where I'm aiming. It'll just be chilling out there, and that's where Goat 13 will be. And that's the last 2 collectibles that I don't have footage of. It's only the goats that don't show up again. But it's been like that in every Resident Evil game. So I apologize, but that's where they're at.
It stinks.
Alright, this is where it gets fun, and I'll show you the easiest way to do this. So, hit the blue one, and then the orange one, and then the blue one. And then this part where you have to run back, I'm going to show you the order, but make sure you loot this area real quick and get this going. So when you're ready, you're going to want to hit the orange, then the blue, then the white. Or the blue and orange, white. It doesn't really matter. And then you just want to run. Hit the orange one right there, and then you should be able to make it all the way across. Just like so. But each color goes away at a different time, so if you do blue, orange, white, or orange, blue, white, either way is fine. Just make sure you hit the white one last. Oh, get there. That was a little too close. Now here in a moment, I'll be showing you guys multiple ways to beat the boss. We're not quite there yet, but I just want to get the idea in your heads that there are multiple ways to do it. And I'm going to show you the harder way and then the easiest way. Trust me, this is probably one of the hardest boss fights in the game if you don't have certain weapons or certain resources. It's just ridiculous how many bullets this guy takes on Village of Shadows. He's like a literal sponge. Alright, so use the crane to lift up the boat, and then this part, just sprint. There's nothing to loot, nothing to look at, just go straight across and shoot the slime. There you go. If you don't do it in time, he'll actually sink the boat and kill you. So if that's not incentive enough, then, you know, do it because I'm saying so. Alright, this is that dumb part where you have to hit the crank first. I don't know why, but that's how it is. So like, if you don't go hit the ladder over here, it won't let you do the crank. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. It's just stupid. You have to look at the ladder and then you can put the crank in. Like, what? So if you're a speedrunner, just know, ladder first. For any of my Call of Duty subscribers, if this doesn't remind you of the tortured path, I don't know what does. This is the coolest thing. It's like a Jaws scene out of the Jaws movie or something. Alright, I think you know what to do with our crank here. Just crank that windmill. It's a sequel to Soldier Boy. Soldier Boy's hit.
Okay.
Crank that windmill. Coming soon to iTunes. All right, so now we can play this little puzzle, and it's actually facing to the right, not down. So try to line up the colors on that piece of paper with where they are, or just copy mine when I'm done. Fishy, why are you sleeping?
Got it.
All right, so we just drained the reservoir, which is going to free up that treasure chest we looked at earlier. But first, we're going to go kill the boss. It's also a good place to save the game. Okay, so our next collectible is going to be file number 30, Moreau's Diary 1, and it's going to be in this drawer right here. Also, just know that if you go off the ledge here, that is the boss fight arena, so don't do that until you've collected these parts. However, if you do accidentally drop off, you can just die out and it'll spawn you back in this house. And that's our weapon part number 3. It's going to be the M1911 high-capacity mag on that table right there. And this is where I'm going to show you the 2 different ways for the boss fight. Okay, so number 1 is you can use the shotgun and any of your other resources to beat that. I'm just going to let you know that that is a very difficult way to do that. This dude will take infinite ammo. I swear to God, there's no way to kill him with the shotgun unless you have incredible patience. But I'm going to show you the strategy if that is you and you just want the challenge. But I'm just going to let you know right now that the boss fight arena does not have the resources you need. And your shotgun and mines can only get you so far. But here's how you do it. It took me, I think, 2 days to figure out how to beat him with just the shotgun. It's not worth it. Especially if you see the other way, you're gonna be like, well, why would I want to do that? But if you hate yourself and you're dead inside, just like some of us, and you just want to challenge yourself, then this is it. I'm gonna show you how to do it with infinite ammo on the shotgun, and then whatever resources are in the boss fight, as well as the sniper or something. And I'm just gonna kind of skip through it, but I'm gonna show you the other way in entirety. That way you can see the entire boss fight. Because otherwise we'd be here for 40 minutes. So go over the strategy real quick. What I'm doing is sticking kind of close. Because if you go really far away from him, he's going to start spraying acid everywhere, and that's going to instant kill you. And so what you want to do is stay about 10 to 15 yards away from this dude with your weapon, and then you can pop shot him whenever his body comes out of the mouth. Otherwise, he doesn't take damage. And if you see him swell up like a blowfish or pufferfish or whatever, run the hell away from him. I also want to note the red barrels in the arena don't really hurt him unless his mouth is open like it was right there. But you just want to run away a lot of the times. So basically it's just do this. Shotgun whatever his thing is, and then just kind of walk in circles around houses. If he does that little slide thing where he just starts sprinting at you, right before he gets up to you, run to the right or left, and you won't get hit as much. Or block, and you'll lessen the damage. So when he swells up like that, just run away. Now you can usually get a shot in before he sprays acid, so if you are close, you can do that. But really the best strategy I was noticing is just to place mines or use pipe bombs and then stun him, and basically you can get a few shots in that way. But this dude has several phases, and it's really annoying. Now that was a bit unfair. I think what makes this so ridiculous with your weapons is that he has an insane amount of health, 1, and then 2, he can hit you through the buildings. Like, the acid clips through the buildings, making it impossible to hide. But right there, when his eyes turn red, that's phase 1. And so that's kind of a look at what you have to do with just the shotgun. It's going to get harder on the second and third phase, but the strategy is the same. So that's a look at the shotgun. I'm not going to waste too much time explaining that because I don't think you should do that. But if you do want the challenge, that's how you do it. It's just by the third phase you run out of resources, and so it's just a matter of running and shooting him once every so often, and it just takes forever. So here's the way I'd recommend. At this point, if you followed the walkthrough, I've shown you how to get the infinite ammo and the career points and things like that. So at this point in the game, I'm going to recommend you buy the M87 infinite ammo for the grenade launcher. And the way to get the points, if you don't have them, because it's 80,000, is go to Mercenaries and just play the first 4 worlds, and that will give you plenty of career points. It's not that hard. You just have to get an A rank on the first area. So the village, the castle, the factory, and the Mad Village. And that should get you plenty of career points. If you already have that stuff and you're just wondering how to get it, feel free to comment me in the comments, and I will, tell you what's easier, what's not. You can go to a previous save file and basically do a couple like easy ones and get those done. But there's plenty of ways to get the infinite ammo on the M87. So buy the grenade launcher infinite ammo, and that is going to be absolutely needed for the rest of this game. It is going to make our lives a lot better. So now that we have that finally in our walkthrough, we are ready to get going. So I advise pop off a few shots to celebrate. You did it. You have the ultimate weapon. Well, at least for now. You'll get the ultimate weapon when you beat Village of Shadows. The rocket pistol. Alright, so when you're ready to show this dude what's up, here's how you beat him with this. Now, I'm not going to really talk too much, maybe a few pointers, but I've already kind of gone over what you do. It's really just wait for him to pop out, stay pretty close to him, and then just keep shooting him. But you're going to see the time difference. Like, you saw how long it takes to do phase 1 with the shotgun, and now you're going to see how long it takes to do the entire boss fight with just this weapon. Try to use the stone walls of the buildings as best you can to evade the acid, but I'm just letting you know that a lot of the times it'll clip through the building. It's really annoying. I don't know why it does that, but that's how it is. So that was phase 1 already. Like maybe 9 shots. So I haven't proven if he takes damage when he's on the roof, but I always like to shoot him because there's nothing else to really do. But I don't think he actually takes damage. So these little walls, you know what to do. You just shoot them with whatever gun you got and get those out of the way. Another tip is after the first phase, he's going to not know where you're at for some reason. And so it's a good time to go loot the boss arena before he realizes where you're at. So that's that blocking ability that we have now. I've noticed that you still take damage when you block, even if you have the recipe. It just doesn't hurt you nearly as much when it comes to the bosses. Now, when it comes to normal enemies, you're fine. But I guess with bosses, they just dull the damage like a lot. He's being mean. That acid, if you're not careful, that acid will kill you instantly. Does not take much. We're not going to talk about that miss. So I think if you don't get like any unnecessary hits, maybe like 4 or 5 health potions would be like enough. It might take each player different, but you know, that's a good number to aim for going into this. And there should be 2 in the boss arena. I believe there's even enough crafting items to make another one, but or at least not the herbs, but they do drop the chem potion. Now your big cue to know that phase 3 is starting and that he's almost dead is when Ethan says something like, he's not getting hurt, or it's not breaking. That's your cue. Big advantage of this gun is that most likely, yeah, that's where Ethan just says it. So that's the end of phase 2. And phase 3 is really short.
Can't get caught in that.
But the the grenade launcher actually keeps him from doing this like thing where he gets like huge and he just sprays acid everywhere and he just follows you. That's super annoying, but he doesn't do that nearly as much when you have the rocket launcher. All right, so this is a super short phase. I've never seen him actually crawl over the house to get to you. That was a new one for me, so I don't know if that's like a normal thing or what, but I've played this boss fight a lot, and I've never once seen him do that. In my head, I was like, phase 4? I was getting a little bit lazy on this because I was just like, let's get this over with the grenade launcher. But if you stay back and you're not as aggressive as I'm being, you shouldn't get hit nearly as much. But I would say anywhere between 25 and 30 grenades whenever his body's hanging out should be enough to kill him out entirely. So that's how we beat him. Like I said, if you can't get the infinite ammo on the grenade launcher and you're struggling, put it up in the comments. I will gladly help you. I've done it with just the shotgun, and I did it with the grenade launcher as well as just the sniper. But on Village of Shadows, it's easiest just to get the infinite ammo. And so they definitely have plenty of ways to get the 80,000 points through mercenaries and or random challenges. So I would recommend doing that. But we have a few more collectibles before we leave this area. But yeah, we're going to go over some of that stuff. But make sure you loot the boss fight before you leave this area.
The exit's up ahead.
And we're just going to rock the grenade launcher for almost the rest of the game. It's going to speed through the game. You're going to see a huge difference. I mainly chose to do the walkthrough this way because I knew that some people wouldn't have the grenade launcher. And I made a point to make sure that I mention as many of the challenges as possible as we're going, in hopes that you would have the 80,000 by this point in the game. So that's that was the goal. All right, so make sure you get the winged key here and combine it for the 6-wing key, infinite. And file number 37 is going to be right here. It's Moreau's Diary number 2. So make sure you flip through that. It's an interesting read, too. He was a troubled person.
Is that alive?
All right, now before you leave this area, go back out here, because this is where a couple more collectibles are, as well as that treasure chest that we saw earlier. Apologize for the darkness. It's just how the game is. Okay, so first, goat number 14 is going to be right here in that pile of trash right when you come out of the windmill. And then now down here to the right on this boat is going to be the treasure chest. And that'll be the last loot item of this like reservoir area. So once you do that, you're done with this area. I do appreciate that each area of the game has its own style of horror. I liked that about the Resident Evil 7 series, and I think that was really cool that they did the same thing with this one. You know, you got the puzzle, dark castle, and you got the terrifying doll, and the like underwater like monster type stuff. They have different kind of areas, and I think that's a really cool idea. I think 7 did it a little bit better, but I still really like this game. So this is another good time to save. And what we're going to be doing now is using our crank to leave. Instead of leaving out the main gate, we're going to go over here and open up this side area and get a few more collectibles. And this will allow us to also get the labyrinth completed that we're standing next to, which will be the 3rd labyrinth out of the 4. So speaking of labyrinths, the mermaid ball is sitting right here on this altar. So just go ahead and grab that. And now, just for shits and giggles, I decided to try to kill them with the grenade launcher. Definitely not the most effective gun, but hey, it was fun. I mean, it's effective if you can hit it. It's not easy to hit. These things are so annoying. Yeah, we got the grenade launcher now, buddy. Back up. We're going to make light work of every enemy from this point out. It's almost needed, though. I swear, this game is so much harder without it. Especially in the end game. 'Cause we're about 3/4 the way through the game now. And that end game is definitely hard without it. Not impossible, but hard. Alright, so make sure you hit this zip line up here. There's some more loot. I don't know what the point of the zip line is unless you're trying to stealth it, maybe. I don't know. I really don't know why there's a zip line there. I mean, yeah, the only thing I can think of is if you wanted to stealth. But you still have to go in the house anyways. Not to mention this entire area is optional, so I'm not really sure why you need to go here. Like, the only thing of value is where you have to go in this house, so I don't know. Okay, so here's our next couple of collectibles. We have file number 32, Moreau's Diary of Experiments. And then to the right of that is going to be the Wolfsbane. That is our next weapon collectible. And that will be close to the last weapon. So make sure you get that. And once you pick up that weapon, then there's going to be another one of those werewolves spawn in. But now we have the grenade launcher, so this is honestly a joke. This guy won't even get close. It's pretty funny. You don't even let him stand up. Just keep hitting it. It's so much better than before, right? When we fought him earlier, he actually had a chance. We had to cheese it with ladders. Not anymore. Not anymore, sir. This is a good example of how much health these guys have, though. It is pretty crazy. Alright, so there's another well down here, so make sure you don't miss that. It's going to have some more loot. And that is it for the collectibles of this chapter, but I'm going to show you the labyrinth as well. But we are done with all the actual collectibles for the game at the moment. So yeah, here's the labyrinth right here. Just use the mermaid ball. This is a pretty easy one. The last one is going to be the hardest labyrinth in my opinion. The rest of them are like warm-ups. The last one, my goodness. It's not hard, but it's definitely harder than the other ones. It's not as forgiving, I guess. The rest of them, it's like, okay, there's one part, like this part right here. This is the only part that you could actually fail. The last one has like 5 spots. You're just like, okay. And it's tough to see it because it's in the dark. Definitely worthy of the last one. Yay! I guess you can save right here if you're just excited you did the labyrinth, but we're going to go back to the merchant where there's another save device. So, up to you. I'm always that safe than sorry kind of person. But that is it for part number 7. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up right here. On the next part, we're going to pick up right here at this way sign. And we're going to be finishing off the village looting. We're going to get this house over here where this crank is on the left over here, right there. And then we're also going to finish looting some of the other spots and getting some of the secret drawbridge areas, etc. And then the castle treasure as well. So we're just going to fill out the world on the next part in part number 8. But that is it for part 7. I hope you guys enjoyed this part. I hope it was helpful, and I hope to see you in the next part. My name is Absoulem, and thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next part.